What the Boston Celtics just put off is malpractice at the highest level. And as a Boston fan, this is one of the worst trades I've ever seen, really since the Mookie Betts trade when they moved him to the Dodgers. And I don't follow as much baseball anymore because the Red Sox are a joke and they operate like the Kansas City Royals. And I've just fallen out of love for baseball. I just don't really care as much. And the Red Sox have 4 championships, so I've seen them win a lot. And when I look at this move by the Celtics, it's like, what are we doing here? I understand there might have been some problems with the front office and Jalen Brown. Okay, it's unfortunate. We might have to move off of him. I was ready for Jalen Brown to get traded, even though I didn't want it to happen. I accepted the reality that we may not have the Jays anymore. It's something I don't want, but just have to accept things the way they are. So there was a bunch of trade packages out there, and it just felt like, okay, this is going to drag on. Eventually, we're going to get the news that Brown is going to be traded. I didn't want to believe it, but I was anticipating this day to arrive. When I saw the report today of what they got back, I'm going, Jason Tatum's 28 years old. Derek White is, let me check his age again. He is 31 years old. He's turning 32 tomorrow. Happy early birthday to Derek White. You are in win now mode with some of these players on your roster. Payne Pritchard, who won a championship. And you're bringing back Paul George, who is declining as a player. I'm not trying to disrespect Paul George, but he's not the same guy anymore if you want him to be your second option. So you pretty much got back a role player. You got some draft picks. Cool. You have a pick in 2028 that could be favorable towards you. Awesome. But then you have to develop that rookie and hope that he is a solid second option. And by the time you get to 2028, Tatum will be 30 and you're just going to skip past his prime years. Like, it's ridiculous. And you better hope that Tatum doesn't want out in the next few seasons, because that is a possibility. I don't think Tatum's going to wait around to build a contender for the next 4 seasons or 5 seasons. I don't think that's going to happen here. So Brad Stevens has his work cut out for him. The only way I'm going to forgive this move is if the Celtics somehow make a deep playoff run next season. That's the only way this will be forgiven. Because if that doesn't happen, this is going to be looked at as a disaster. Even if you had traded Brown to the Sixers, just get draft picks. Why would you take on a large contract like Paul George? Or maybe you get a 3-way trade and someone takes on Paul George's contract and you get 2 other pieces in return. I don't know. You could have figured that out. But this was malpractice at the highest level by the front office. Right now, when it comes to Brad Stevens, bro, you got to show me something, because this is ridiculous. Your goal is to build a contender. That's what you said in your press conference. Now, obviously, he looked shook in that press conference. He looked like he got beat up on the phones when he was trying to pursue Giannis. I think this is driven more, in my personal opinion, from the owners and the relationship Jaylen Brown has with the Boston Celtics. I'm not blaming Jaylen Brown, by the way. He never requested a trade. That's what's been reported. I think he's just grown frustrated because he has said in his streams that, or the last stream that I saw after they lost in the playoffs, he wants to stay in Boston for the next 10 seasons. Look, I wanted to see if this would work out next year. When they had decided to move on from Drew Holiday, Porzingis, Al Horford, and Cornette, my initial reaction was, okay, this might take 2 seasons to rebuild a championship contender. And the reason why I thought that is because you're bringing in unproven players, and we have to see who's going to fill out a role to build up for the next championship contender. It could take Tatum 2 full seasons to get back to himself. So he comes back, he looks pretty good. He's going to ramp up again this season, and hopefully he is healthy and he's back to top 5, top 10 Jason Tatum level. And then I just thought the following offseason, they would go all in on really getting this roster to championship level status, and they would get a ring the following season. Just because it just takes time for Tatum to get back fully healthy, and then you could find a role player or two, like you discovered Kata. Hopefully that continues. Baylor Schreiman looks promising. But now you're putting everything on Tatum's back. And look, higher usage Tatum, I think, will be great. But this is a 7th or 8th seed team right now. I don't think they're even in the conversation of top 6 in the NBA. You could say, oh, Derek White will shoot better. Well, the thing is, Derek White is better as a 3rd or 4th option. If you insert him as your second option, now obviously he won't be that, assuming Paul George can stay healthy. Well, he had a career high in shot attempts. It was at 16, dipped down to 14. And I believe because he had a career high in shot attempts, that's why his shooting percentage went down. Now, hopefully, Paul George can stay healthy enough where White can be in that 11, 12 shot attempts a night, and he's shooting 39% from three or 38% a night. That'll be awesome. But we don't know if Derek White is going to have a bounce back season shooting wise. Could be some regression. We don't know. Maybe the ownership in Boston says, let's move off White now because we need to collect draft picks. I don't know what's going on in Boston, but it is embarrassing as a fan. It's ridiculous. And quite frankly, I have no trust in this organization. This is the dumbest trade I ever saw outside the Luka one. It's just stupid. And I'm already embracing a rebuild. I know some fans will say, well, what about the pick? And maybe we have to wait to see what Brad Stevens does next. I don't care. You have Paul George under contract next season. He has a player option, which he's likely going to opt into. You're paying the guy $54 million in 56, and then he's an unrestricted free agent in the 28-29 season. So if the goal is to build a championship contender and he's your second option and he's on the downside of his career, I don't know what the Celtics are going to do. They're banking on Hugo Gonzalez and Baylor Shireman to replace that production. Yeah, good luck. And then you have to hope that you can find a reliable second option next to Tatum in the next 2 seasons, because I guarantee if this ship does not get back in order in the next 2 seasons, Tatum's gone. He's going to request a trade. I have nothing else, guys. I wanted to share a separate video for the Celtics because I want to give a ton of credit to the Sixers. What they have done is just phenomenal stuff. And as a Boston fan, this is just horrible. There's no way to put it. If they prove me wrong, I will come on here and say I'm wrong. I really will. I want to be wrong. Like if Brad Stevens can figure things out and can rebuild this roster by next season, because that was my expectation, and you find that second option, okay. But I don't see it. I just don't. So I just think, like I said, it's a combination of the ownership that has come in and they want to cut costs. And Jaylen Brown was not happy with the front office. And I believe Jaylen Brown wanted to stay. I just believe that. It's very unfortunate. I would just love to see the Jays try to work it out. And yes, maybe it'd take another season, but the journey to get to another championship, to deal with the OKCs, the Spurs of the world, Giannis in the Heat, that would have been phenomenal to witness. But it is what it is, and it's just malpractice by the Celtics. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I want to hear your thoughts about the Boston Celtics trading Jaylen Brown. Where do they go next? What are your expectations going forward in Boston? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one.